Hello, everybody. It's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we are returning to Rule the Waves. We're returning to our Let's Play series where we are playing as the Confederacy, and we are in the midst of a war with the French Republic. We've been at war with the French for 23 months, almost 2 years. We're winning the war. We have 13,000 victory points against their 10,000 victory points. One must wonder, in a real conflict, what the victory point status is. How many victory points does ISIS have? How many victory points does the United States have? It's obviously a ludicrous question, but I find victory points in war games somewhat amusing, and yet, obviously, in a gaming perspective, they fill a necessary need to keep score. Although in a real war, such a score would be, I think we'd probably think we're winning by a lot more, given we've won every single major naval engagement. Now, we have 5 dreadnoughts to the, what do the French have? They've got 2 dreadnoughts, and thank you very much for the bits there, J Street. The French have 5 battle cruisers, however. We only have 2 building. We have none complete yet, and both of those building are about 2 years away. The French have a lot of battleships. They outnumber our battleships. They also outnumber our heavy cruisers. And while the war is going pretty well in many ways for us, it's been a little bit lucky that our heavy cruisers have fared so well, that our light cruisers have kind of met with the right sort of scenarios. And for that reason, I've decided to build a heavy cruiser. I know we're kind of in the age of the battle cruiser. It's 1913. The heavy cruiser, a lot of people, when you think of a heavy cruiser, I think a lot of people don't realize the heavy cruiser is the direct descendant of the armored cruiser. Everybody gets that. But what I don't think a lot of people realize is that the heavy cruiser evolved into the battle cruiser. The battle cruiser wasn't this new revolutionary design. It was just a succession of previous designs of armored cruisers adopting the dreadnought philosophy of the all-big gun warship. Many armored cruisers in the age of the pre-Dreadnought were almost as large and in some case mounted similar batteries to the battleships of their day. Typically they were faster, maybe a little bit more lightly armed, but these armored cruisers really designed for foreign stations or for scouting missions really evolved into the battle cruiser. And so this idea of the armored cruiser as a thing really doesn't come around until the naval treaties after World War I, where you have naval powers trying to restrict other naval powers or the attempt to kind of pull back the armament situation in the world. And so you put these tonnage limitations on ships. And when you've got a 20,000 ton limit or whatever it may be to work with, and you can't mount battleship caliber arms, that's where those 8-inch gun sort of 15 to 20,000 ton heavy cruisers come from, is these limitations that are set in place by treaty, not by actual desire of naval architects. So you have these kind of overgunned ships at 8-9-inch guns, well, not 9, but 8-inch guns, pretty much uniform, and no armor, but a lot of speed. And there's sort of the new battle cruisers are these heavy cruisers, which their light armor gets them into trouble in World War II, just as the battle cruisers' light armor often got them into trouble in World War I. Well, my view is a little bit different. I'm designing a new ship, and the reason I'm designing a new ship is we have 2 battle cruisers under construction. The French have 5 battle cruisers already in service with 2 more building. The French also have something like 18 battleships. We have like 10, and they're all obsolete. And we've got 5 dreadnoughts, but this massive armada of French cruisers never seems to get engaged by our battleships, right? The game seems to have an algorithm where it says close in, small action warships, small action battles. They might include heavy cruisers, but they're never going to include battleships. Maybe they'll include the occasional battle cruiser, but heavy cruisers and light cruisers is where it's at. So what I'm deciding to do is I'm going to build a heavy cruiser class. I'm going to build a new class of ships that can get into these smaller actions, but they're going to be useful beyond just fighting other cruisers. Otherwise, I just build a light cruiser class. I'm going to build a heavy cruiser class. It's going to be about 15,000 tons. It's going to mount 10-inch guns. It's going to be able to go toe-to-toe with the French pre-Dreadnought battleships. These pre-Dreadnought battleships might have 12-inch guns, but they've only got 4 of them. We're going to have 10 10-inch guns. So we're going to outgun the French pre-Dreadnought battleships. We will also outgun the French heavy cruisers. We will outspeed both the heavy cruisers and the pre-Dreadnoughts, and will be on par with the very fastest of the battle cruisers. These boys are going to be fast, they're going to be well armed, and they're going to be well armored. The 6.5 inches of armor is going to put them above pretty much all the French armored cruisers. It's going to put them a little bit below some of the battleships, a little bit above some of the battleships. It's going to put them right in line with battle cruiser armament, with a heavy main armament of guns, but the armor is going to be comparable to a battle cruiser. They're going to have 2 torpedo protection. They're going to be mounted with a ton of torpedoes so they can finish enemy ships off. These guys are going to be perfect if they complete while we're at war with France. The other reason we're building these, battle cruisers take over 3 years to build for us. These boys will take just a little bit over 2 years for us to build. So it's a little bit quicker of a building time. A little bit cheaper as well. So we're going to go ahead and build this heavy cruiser class, maybe a limited utility, we'll see. But I do think there is some value to building something here. 15,000 tons, 28 knots, 6.5-inch belt armor, 10-inch guns, 10 of them. 3 forward, 3 aft, and sort of the forward and aft configuration, 2 aft in a super firing turret, and 2 forward in a random forward centerline turret, which we can't super fire yet because the game doesn't let us. And that's going to be this interesting ship here. In some ways, it's inspired for me by the Alaska class. So we talk about the pre-Dreadnought, we talk about the pocket battleships of the German Navy before World War II, but the interesting design is sort of this fast, super heavy armored Alaska class heavy cruiser designed to keep up with the carriers, but also have a strong enough armament to provide bombardment support, but not enough armor to really go toe-to-toe with battleships. The Alaska class heavy cruisers actually had 12-inch guns, 9 of them. And they were built during World War II by the U.S. They were about 30,000 tons, so about double the size, but the guns on ours are 2 inches smaller, the armor's a little bit weaker, and the speed's a little bit slower. So that's what we're going to be building. We're going to make them coal-firing. We could do oil, but I don't think we have actual access to oil, so I don't want to make them my first oil-fired ships. With that being said, I don't know what we should call these. Let's see here. I mean, Neuhauser, you're probably right. There's a fair bet that this class will not complete before the end of the war, but it's going to complete roughly in line with our battle cruisers, and I do think it'll be useful in any event against enemy fleets, even as just a commerce raider. So we're going to call it the Neuhauser class, named after you doubting Thomas you. All right, so we're going to go ahead and build a couple of these. So the Neuhausers, we've got about $4 million in monthly balance available to us. These cost about $2 million a month. We're going to build 2 of them, initially anyway. We're going to pay the 3.8. Actually, no. Cancel. Build ship. Neuhauser. 4. We're going to build 4 of these things. It's going to be expensive. But we've got $40 million in the bank, so we can do this for about 10 months. And you can see there they slot in right alongside our Stuart-class battlecruisers. These battlecruisers with 8 13-inch guns, sort of our first traditional super dreadnought class warship, except they happen to be battlecruisers. These new heavy cruisers will also be slightly faster than this, so I assume in any sort of fleet battle, they'll slot in alongside these and act as sort of scouting forces. Although the Sumter has a pretty heavy armor belt at 10 inches for battle. So this class will definitely dominate the French. You are completely right, unless the war ends before the French have to face it. So with that being said, unrest level is 4. That's kind of high for us, which is a little bit concerning. But let's go ahead and progress to the next turn and see what happens. Studies of enemy ships and tactics have helped our research in light forces and torpedo warfare. Our scientists report that they are currently baffled by the problems of the improved watertight hatches. And we can now allow 5+ centerline turrets. Great. 1 ship sunk by our submarines. You guys suck. Hey, but the British had 60 victory points. The enemy has 1 battleship, 1 battle cruiser, 2 battleships, 7 heavy cruisers, 6 light cruisers, 4 armored cruisers, 8 destroyers, and 5 minesweepers. Convoy defense, which means we're probably going to be on the light cruiser end of things. I'm going to decline that fight. And auto-resolve. Damn, we lost another light cruiser. They keep closing in on us victory point-wise because we keep losing these light cruisers in these commerce rating actions. Surprised and sunk by French Q-ship. One of our subs sunk. So actually, we lost 2 subs sunk. They're starting to get ahead of us in the commerce rating department. Although they now have at least multiple heavy cruisers, which are interned in enemy ports. Great job, Great Britain. The French destroyer Etard has been sunk. Escaped. 17. We need 18. All right, so we're gonna go to coastal patrol with the obsolete destroyers. All right, so there you go. One of our major shipyards is short on orders. What are you talking about? We just laid down 60,000 tons worth of heavy cruisers. I want to build another Neuhauser class in 23 months at a 10% discount on price. Yeah, okay, 10% discount. I will take that. We'll name it Bayou City. The Army wants more resources. The Navy can get by with less. For 3 months. Good God, I didn't realize we'd lose $5 million. Okay. Hey, wow, we had a really good month with our raiders. And the French may have also. Yeah, we'll fight this battle. French decline, 140 victory points. Huzzah! Convoy attack. Interesting. So we're attacking French convoys. Our objective is to sink at least 2 enemy transports. And apparently I'm commanding a destroyer, because that's great. I really want to fight battles where I command a destroyer. Alright, so I was hoping that because the game said we'd have such an advantage in light cruisers that this would be a simple fight. It doesn't appear to be the case, because I'm guessing they've got light cruisers protecting them. Now we're going to have just destroyers with like 2-inch guns trying to deal with these escorts. Obviously, are escorts because you guys are just sailing around like they got no care in the world. All right, so we sped up to 28 knots already. They apparently are enemy destroyers, so that's at least good. The destroyers are going to sail away from us, so okay. I don't really care if we sink any enemy warships. I'll gladly take a victory in wiping out this enemy convoy. We sank 2 enemy ships already. Wipe this this convoy off the face of the earth. They've got a lot more destroyers than we do. We're going to lose at least one of our destroyers. I feel like we're out of ammo or something. I'm not shooting at that last enemy. Run away! Alright, so it's sunk. We sank the enemy convoy. Now we got to try and get our destroyers out of there. The enemy destroyers are clearly faster than us. The seas are getting a little bit rough. They're turning back. Maybe they're not faster than us. Maybe they're just the same speed. Not really sure. In any event, we wipe that convoy out. PQ-17 style, y'all. Right. Alright, so we'll slow down because there's really no reason we can't slow down this destroyer. End of battle. Minor CSA victory. So no Confederate ships sunk, 6 enemy transports sunk, and 1 enemy destroyer heavily damaged. I'll take that as a victory. Alright, so negative 10 million in the red. One of our major shipyards is short on orders and wants to build another Neuhauser class at a 10% discount. We'll take the offer! We're going to build so many Neuhauser classes that it's going to take over our fleet. Ooh, a fleet battle. 4 battleships for us, 1 for them. 8 battle. Okay. Warning, French Division France Destroyer Division 7 has lead... What? That's a weird... Alright, so this says it's a fleet battle. See how this thing plays out. What do we all have at our disposal? We've got 2 battleships or dreadnought, 4 dreadnoughts. We've got the Pride of the South, the South Carolina. We've also got the Tennessee and the Georgia. So we've got 4 dreadnoughts, it looks like. We've also got a slew of destroyers and light cruisers. This is going to be a big one. Our capital ship seems to be the Tennessee, which is a THG Jr class. 12 12-inch guns, super firing turrets, all that jazz, 12-inch armor, 26,000 tons. We've got a second battle division, 7th, which is the Florida and the Judah Benjamin, which are both THG class sort of semi-dreadnoughts with 10-inch secondary guns. So this actually should be useful compared to anything I think the French will have. And then we've also got we've got actually 4 THG class sort of super dreadnoughts. We've also, or sort of semi-dreadnoughts. And we've got the Pride of the South and the South Carolina, Pride of the South class with their 10, 12-inch guns. Now, interestingly enough, these enemy vessels appear to be closing in pretty damn fast on the rest of our fleet. So we're immediately going to up the speed to, what's our max sustainable? 21 knots. We'll do one lower. We'll do 20 knots. And we're going to, maybe we're already crossing their T. I'm not really sure. These appear to be light forces, though. They all kind of turn back instantly. Presumably, the rest of the enemy fleet should come up here at some point. Let's try and cut these guys. Oh, shit. My battleship's in the... Turn away. Don't get hit by torpedoes. No! The Tennessee was hit by... Oh, my God. Well, there goes one of our... We lost this battle literally already. I just charged headlong into enemy destroyers. We sank a couple of them, but they just sank one of our dreadnoughts. So that's all that you need to know about this battle. Fuck. All right, we need a new flag because Tennessee's sinking. Unless we can, like, identify the enemy battle fleet and sink it, we're fucked. God damn. And the rest of my fleet, which I can't command, all is sailing away. Do I have a new flag yet? I do. The Battleship Georgia. So I'm glad to know the Pride of the South class sucked so bad that it sank that fast. The one thing I don't get is, like, in Admiral mode, why the hell aren't any destroyers out front? Why is the actual Dreadnought the one leading the charge? That seems a little bit flawed. Like, that, I get you wanting to restrict players from being able to command everything, and I think that's a really cool idea, is giving you limited control. That's one of the things I really enjoy about the Scourge of War series, for example. But why at least don't you have the AI units follow sort of logical tactics? There should be like a screen of destroyers out front. Anyway, so we sank a few enemy destroyers. We're going to put everybody in port. And major French victory. Great. Lose 2 prestige. Jesus, 4,000 victory points. Just like that, we're behind because we lost a single dreadnought. Ugh. Right. Indeed, it is a tradition. We must kill our own men. If we do not, then how can we nickname ourselves the Butcher? How did I get the nickname the Butcher, by the way? I'm assuming it came from something with Ultimate General Civil War, but I'm not really sure. Did we spot something, by the way? Pause. Where are these unknown ships? What the hell is this thing? Lidgeville. Okay. So apparently there's enemy ships around, but I have no idea where. I don't know where the enemy is, but they might be sinking AI ships. This seems dumb. Am I going to lose a battle because of frickin' dumbness? Dumbness! By the way, guys, as a side note, I am learning to start to fly aircraft in IL-2 Sturmovik, the Battle of Stalingrad. So just pointing that out, I will probably including some flight simulation footage on the channel in the not too distant future. I started learning how to taxi and all that jazz last night. Spent quite a bit of time watching some tutorials and other things like that. So I do plan to bring some flight sim stuff too. Oh, great. Glad to know that army offensive basically bogged down into nothing. We cannot show weakness now. Peace negotiations are out of the question. A fleet battle. Let us do it again. Let us see how this one goes out. I'm really trying to win a decisive action. I just want to win a decisive fleet. Please. Where are the unknown ships? Presumably they're somewhere. All right. Unknown ship spotted. Speed up 20 knots. At least our battle cruiser's not in the van here. All right, let's see what we got. Appears to be an enemy battle line coming up. Well, we have 3 dreadnoughts in this battle. Enemy has heavy cruisers up front, actually. Fastest, best speed we can make appears to be 19 knots. All right, so is this really what we're facing? Just heavy cruisers? Gotta be a battle fleet back there, right? Problem is we're not going to be able to catch them. That's the challenge. I guess we can turn on the merchantmen and at least sink them. Battleships over here, heavy cruisers over here. So they've kind of got 2 columns of warships. Lots of shell splashes. Killed so many rebels. Were they my own rebels? Like, was I the rebel? Which series are we talking about here? I think these damn armed merchant cruisers. All right, at least one of them is going down. Kind of a waste of all this ammunition. Be like, yeah, we sank enemy merchant ships. But hey. An enemy ship sunk, right? If it's a body count contest, then we can count that as a win. That's sort of the way I look at it. And that's an enemy merchant. Merchant cruiser flash fire blows up. See, this is the problem again with this whole system for the game is I've got the Pride of the South battleship leading the charge all by itself with no screen out front. I know it can issue orders for destroyers to screen them, but it doesn't really ever seem to amount to any. They kind of do form up on our flank, but... Alright, so we sank a pair of enemy armed merchant cruisers. I don't know if we sank anything else. I don't really know how damage was allocated in that fight either. Well, we've got a destroyer sinking. Great. That probably just made us lose the battle all by itself, right? Great, we had 2 ships collide with each other. Even better. Marginal French victory. So we lost 1 destroyer sunk, 1 heavy damaged. Lost 2 auxiliaries and a destroyer, and yet we lose the battle. Damn it! The French. Oh no, I'm going to be in the red. So the army offensive failed. I'm building all these Neuhauser classes. This is the most numerous class of warship that I've built. I'm going to have to halt 2 of them. Sure, this month. Probably a 3rd next. Okay. Medium-sized action on the Gulf Coast. We need to try and get ahead. We need to win a battle here, there, somewhere. Somewhere we need a victory if we're going to win this war. This war may also carry on till the end of time. I'm not sure. I think the enemy's trying to raid our coast in this fight. Waiting where the enemy might be. Where are the bad guys? Where are they? I really hope these aren't actual dreadnoughts that are sailing toward us. Because if I'm charging dreadnoughts with like 2 light cruisers, that might be problem. Oh god. Are they really battle cruisers? Like what the fuck? Come on, game algorithm, give me a break. Why do I not have any heavy forces available? And we're gonna die. Run away! Battle of Falklands it. Wait, no, don't do that. Then we lose. Oh, we lost a destroyer. He's gonna come blast us to smithereens with 2 battle cruisers. See, that's the reason battle cruisers are valuable in this game. It's not because battle cruisers are actually valuable, because the game's algorithm for deciding who is in what fight is determined by ship type, it seems. And so you need to make sure that you have ship types that can be drawn into these types of engagements. Would have been great if we got a hit there. Oh, wait, we do have the Georgia. So apparently we do have heavy ships here that we just don't command. I don't know. That's the other confusion. Enemy battle cruiser hit by a torpedo. Uh-oh, the Georgia's dead in the water. Okay. So apparently Georgia looks like it might be sinking. Yep. We just lost the Dreadnought Georgia. So we hit an enemy battle cruiser with a torpedo. We lost our own battleship. And our light forces got shot to pieces. So this war is really turned on its head. Maybe we should have accepted the white peace several months ago. Fuck. Did we at least protect our shoreline from enemy bombardment? Maybe? This war had gotten off to such a great start. We were up by like 8,000 victory points at one point. Then the French sailed their whole fleet into the... like, where are they maintaining their fleet in the Caribbean? That's the other thing I don't understand. What French naval bases in the Caribbean can support this large of a navy? I protest this war. Demand a recount. But here's the thing. I didn't kill the Georgia. Like, this wasn't my ship to command. It was just an AI ship that sailed into the scrum. Ugh. It wasn't me. Major French victory. 3 light cruisers, 3 destroyers, 1 auxiliary, 1 battleship. The enemy lost nothing. Well, they didn't bombard their target. And holy shit, that's the most decisive victory I've seen in this battle. No, I don't want to designate that as a memorable battle. On the flip side, the good news is we've got 2 battle cruisers coming off the way in less than a year now. Let's fight another battle. Maybe we'll get even. Again, light cruisers at our disposal. The OOBs have support forces. More light cruisers. Unknown ship spotted. Crank up the speed and pray there's no battle cruiser. They're destroyers. There's no fucking way we're gonna catch these guys. I sure hope these are transports. Or just more destroyers, apparently. And heavy cruisers. Awesome. I don't know if that's our destroyer. I think that's the French destroyer. Cruiser De Soto's dead in the water. Hey, we hit an enemy heavy cruiser with torpedoes. Nice. Maybe it'll sink. Soto certainly looks like it's gonna sink. So it looks like we sank 2 enemy destroyers. I'm not really clear of what ours was. Alright. So major Confederate victory. We lose 1 light cruiser with heavy damage. The enemy loses 2 destroyers and 1 heavy cruiser. There you go. I mean, it's not the same thing as losing a Dreadnought, and it's not 9,000 victory points, it's 800, but hey, a victory is a victory nonetheless. Oh boy. We need 19 ships on coastal patrol. I mean, I guess I'll put my obsolete ships on coastal patrol, right? Considering the dire war situation, we can get lenient terms. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for episode number 11 of Rule the Waves, playing as the Confederacy. The war with France drags on. We're 31, now 32 months into this war, and we are losing from a victory point perspective. So the war got off to a great start at the beginning of the war, but so far things have kind of turned against us, and we're really hoping that sort of our submarines and other things like that allow us to get back into this conflict against a much larger French Navy. But we're almost 3 years into this war, and there doesn't appear to be any end in sight. But with that being said, we'll go ahead and continue on the war in our next episode and see how things progress. Until then, however, I hope you guys are enjoying this series, and let me know your thoughts below. But until then, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.